Hashem Mashiach Yahushua. Pum Yashala to the 12 tribes scattered abroad, and double honors to the elders of H.O.I. And all the elders throughout the four corners of the earth that's not wicked and teaching His truth and in sincerity. Shalom.
Shalom.
So we're gonna go over a breakdown real quick. Romans the 11th chapter. We have a lot of confusion going on with the Romans 11. You have a lot of people that teach. Most of Israel teaches that this is all Israel, that is speaking about Israel, and H.O.I. hasn't been vocal now in these times and in this age, but Priest Zabak Ben laid the foundation, and he let the world know where he stands and where we stand. And this is actually the original One West breakdown. This is not changed. The elder hasn't changed none of the breakdowns. So, and we're going to show you how it makes sense that everybody in the Bible can't be an Israelite. It's just the Most High uses who He wants to use. This is not a shot. This is not to combat other people, but this is to let Israel and the people know where we stand and how we see this breakdown. You understand? And yes, we don't teach that Cornelius is an Israelite. And this is going to show you how it makes sense. Okay? You want to add anything?
Yeah, just to let me back on what the brother was saying, that when I came into the truth, Elder Zabak, I was on the Thursday night classes. Elder Zabak was teaching them. I started teaching Thursday night classes. Yahweh All from Sons of Thunder, he was teaching the Thursday night classes for a while. Shout out to Yahweh All. My upbringing in this truth, I was learning from the Thursday night classes, so I never got caught up in the sensationalism of brand new doctrines. Shiny brand new doctrines started coming out, I'll say like 2010, 2012, and they really ravaged Israel. You know what I'm saying? Brand shiny new doctrines. But when I learned from Elder Zabak and other elders that I came across in New York from the old One West, these shiny new doctrines used to get booted right about the school. So, a lot of people talking about, the truth, and they got 100% of the truth and 144% of the truth, or whatever brothers say right now. But those type of doctrines, from what I hear from my elders, would not last 2 seconds in the old school of One West. That would have got you thrown down the stairs. And that's just coming from the elders that was in One West. So we just keeping the traditions of our elders, unless, we see that there was a major error. But, from what I've learned from Priest Zabak and the other elders I've learned from, Priest Terah and the other elders I've learned from, Manashah, that these One West breakdowns, for the most part, hold true to this very day. And, there's a lot of sensationalism and a lot of new doctrines going around in Israel, but we staying true to the solid foundation which brought out a lot of these camps, that you see to this very day.
So we just want to, like I said, we just want to show the people where we stand with it. Yes, it's not the popular doctrine. The elders teaches us that this is not the popular doctrine, so it might ruffle a few feathers and it might make some rebuttal videos. But at the end of the day, this is where we stand on this breakdown, and you've seen there's been a lot of confusion on it. Now, you run up on the wrong Christian, and they understand this, and you teach that everybody's Israel, it can be a stumbling block for you. And it could get you caught up out there and make you look a different way. So we got to be more humble to listen to everything that's being brought out before we rebuttal everything. So we're going to start off with Romans 11. We're going to bounce around a few precepts. Everybody's going to chime in. But we're going to start off with Romans the 11th chapter. Agnavia, you can start it off. We're going to start off from 11 and 1.
This is the book of Romans, chapter 11, verse 1. I say then, Hath God cast away his people? God forbid. For I also am an Israelite of the seed of Abraham, of the tribe of Benjamin.
Salakia. Even that right there, right? That right there has people confused from the jump because he's mentioning from the jump that, listen, God has not cast away his people. You understand? Like, he's saying that he's an Israelite from the tribe of Benjamin, from the seed of Abraham. So a lot of people take that as, okay, the rest of this chapter, he's talking about Israel. That's not true. What he's actually doing is declaring his stance amongst the Gentiles that Israel's not done away with. So he's just making that clear to the heathen and the Gentiles first and foremost, saying Israel is not done away with. So when I'm addressing you, first and foremost, understand that Israel is still chosen. You understand? So he's making that known first. I hope y'all get what I'm saying. He's making it known first and foremost that I'm going to address you Gentiles. Remember, this is a book towards the Romans. The Roman Empire was filled with Gentiles. So he said, I'm going to address you Gentiles, but I just want you to know first and foremost that God has not cast away his people.
And Salaka, he's addressing the Gentiles. In Romans 11, he's addressing the Gentiles, but it's really to let Israel know. Mm-hmm. That's the whole point of it. Yes, it is to Israel, but he's showing, and he's addressing Israel. He's showing Israel, right, he's showing Israel that this is supposed to happen, and it's going to happen, and it was prophesied to happen. And when you read Romans 9 and 10, you know he's talking to Israel. So this is just Paul giving a little bit of understanding of the prophecies. You understand? Of the prophecy that was supposed to happen. And we're going to show you that there is spiritual Israel, but then, Salakia. What the hell am I sound like a Jehovah's Witness. There's northern kingdom and southern kingdom that didn't know that they were living like Gentiles. But this is speaking about the heathen, about the other nations. And there's a reason why this happened, and we're going to show you why. Because if you read this, the first couple of scriptures, when you read it to the 12th verse, that's when it turns you to a curveball. The 12th verse, that's when it starts changing. So you got to know in context who it's speaking about, because if you keep reading it with the mentality of that Paul's speaking to Israel, and in the Gentile state of mind, it ain't going to make sense. And that's how you get tripped up. So yes, Paul is stating his claim. He's a Benjamite. It's all about Israel. It's all about Israel. Don't get it twisted. All right? Go ahead, King.
Come. Verse 2. God hath not cast away his people, which he hath foreknew. Wot ye not what the scripture saith of Elias? How he maketh intercession to God against Israel, saying, Lord, they have killed thy prophets, and dig down thy altars, and I am left alone, and they seek my life.
Right. So what is he speaking about? He's speaking about the prophet Elijah. Now let's go to that real quick. 1 Kings, you got that out? Somebody got 1 Kings 19 and 9? Just so y'all can get a little clarity. We're going to go back and forth just to give you a little bit of the history.
This is the book of 1 Kings, chapter 19, verse 9. And he came thither unto a cave and lodged there. And behold, the word of Yahweh came to him. And he said unto him, What doest thou here, Elijah? Verse 10. And he said, I have been very jealous for Yahweh, God of hosts, for the children of Israel.
Salakia, you notice that he put there, I've been very jealous. Understand, this is a warning. Because there's a prophecy in Deuteronomy, which we will get to, about us making the Most High jealous and what he's going to do to us if we ever made him jealous. So that was just a foreshadowing and a warning about the prophecy that was made in Deuteronomy chapter 32. Okay? Read that poem one more time, actually.
Come. So, and he came thither unto a cave, Salakia, And he said, I have been very jealous for Yahweh, God of hosts, for the children of Israel. I have forsaken thy covenant, thrown down thine altars, and slain thy prophets with the sword. And I, even I only, am left, and they seek my life to take it away.
Right. So this is what Paul is speaking about. This is what he's referring to. Okay? So we just want to give you the whole lens of how and what this is happening. What's happening here. Alright? Let's go back to Romans.
Romans chapter 11, verse 4. But what saith the answer of God unto him? Have I reserved to myself 7,000 men who have not bowed the knee to the image of Baal? Even so then, at this present time, also there is a remnant according to the election of grace.
Right, so the 7,000 men, can you go back to 1 Kings?
Okay. 19 and 10. Come.
Read.
Come. Verse 11. And he said, go forth and stand up upon the mountain before Yahweh, and behold, Yahweh passed by, and a great and strong wind rent the mountains and break in pieces the rocks before Yahweh. But Yahweh was not in the wind. And after the wind, an earthquake, but Yahweh was not in the earthquake. Verse 12. And after the earthquake, a fire, but Yahweh was not in the fire. And after the fire, a still, small voice. Verse 13. And it was so, when Yahweh heard it, that he wrapped his face in his mantle and went out and stood in the entering of the cave. And behold, there came a voice unto him and said, what doest thou here, Elijah? Verse 14. And he said, I have been very jealous for the Lord and for Yahweh God of hosts, because the children of Israel have forsaken thine covenant, thrown down thine altars, and slain thy prophets with the sword. And I, even I only, am left, and they seek my life to take it away. Verse 15. And Yahweh said unto him, go, return on thy way to the wilderness of Damascus, and when thou comest, anoint Hazael to be king over Syria. And Jehu, the son of Nimshi, shall thou anoint to be king over Israel. And Elisha, the son of Shaphat, of Mahala, shalt thou anoint to be prophet in thy room. And it shall come to pass that him that escapeth the sword of Hazael shall Jehu slay, and him that escapeth the sword of Jehu shall Elisha slay. Yet I have left me 7,000 in Israel.
You see? Go ahead.
All the knees which have not bowed unto Baal, and every mouth which has not kissed him.
So the Most High always had that remnant. The remnant was always there. That's the reason why we still here. Because there's get the scripture, Yanya, where if it wasn't for the remnant, we would all be like Sodom and Gomorrah. Bible Kashaw. So that's just to show you, Paul. See, people get Paul jacked up. Christians get, and that was his job. Because mind you,
that was his job.
If Paul, I'm gonna show y'all something that Israel don't look at. If Paul wasn't so confusing to the Christian state of mind and to our oppressors, they would have completely destroyed this book.
That's right.
It was because of Paul's twisted writings and mysteries that he wrote and twisting, just twisting the wordplay. Because that's all he did was twist the wordplay, but he was giving you the Old Testament.
He was giving you a lot of Old Testament.
He was giving you nothing but the Law and Old Testament. But you won't understand this if you didn't read the Old Testament, which most Christians don't know. Okay? Give me that, King.
Salakia, they would have been burning them Bibles like Hitler was burning the Bibles.
Huh?
You know what I'm saying? If they knew better.
Because Paul made them think they had a chance. Okay? That was Paul's job. Go ahead, Al.
Con, this is Isaiah chapter 1, verse 9. Except the Lord of hosts had left unto us a very small remnant,
Mm-hmm.
we should have been as Sodom, and we should have been like unto Gomorrah.
Right? So we would have all been like Sodom and Gomorrah with no instructions because the Bible would have been thrown out. And we would have not known that God was against homosexuality and against the ways of Baal. We would have not known right from wrong if these scriptures was never left here.
Right.
God, Salakia, when you deal with Second Ezra, Ezra had to rewrite the Bible because when you understand the history, they took it and destroyed it. It was the same way with Alexander the Great when he went and burned the library at Alexandria. A lot of that history is gone, so they had to take it and remake it. Also, if you look at a certain Roman Emperor Constantine, if you look at him, they always like to talk about the Council of Nicaea. But you have to understand, he actually believed, before that time, for 300 years, Christianity, or believing in Hamashiach Yahushua, was outlawed. So they couldn't believe in it. Until Emperor Constantine came, and he had a revelation from what? From the Most High, and won a battle.
It won the battle.
If you deal with Alexander the Great, Alexander was actually about to destroy Jerusalem, but he had a revelation from the Most High and didn't do it. He turned back. So the Most High used heathen.
Right?
He used Cyrus.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Hold on, let me see if I can get that right now. Most High called
That's in
Cyrus.
Jeremiah.
He called Cyrus his anointed, didn't he?
He Elamite or Ishmaelite.
Most High use who he want.
Yes.
Most High use who he want, and you can't say nothing about it. Are we saying, because the Most High use who he want, are we saying that
Isaiah 45:1.
everybody's the same, everybody's equal?
La.
No, not at all. Are we saying we're leaving the door open for salvation for the Gentiles? No, not at all. But they do get salvation. Their salvation is under us.
The
Yeah.
salvation is the plantation.
Right.
You got that? Isaiah 45:1.
Con, this is Isaiah chapter 45, verse 1. Thus said the Lord to his anointed.
His what?
To his anointed.
His what?
To his anointed.
His anointed, go ahead.
To Cyrus.
To who?
Cyrus.
Dang. A heathen?
To Cyrus, whose right hand I have holden to subdue nations before him.
To do what?
Subdue nations before him.
Hey, guess what? The Most High used Esau to subdue nations too.
Is this sword?
He used Esau as his sword, man. David in the Psalm said, hey, protect me from your sword.
Right.
Who's the wicked? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
The Most High sword is Esau right now. You know what I'm saying? But will Esau get salvation? Oh, hell no. But the Most High could use a heathen to do what he will, man. Listen, when them other nations get out of line, Esau nuke bomb the piss out of them, man. Go in there and destroy them. And then what he bring? The Bible. Why you think Zeus is done? Zeus. All them guys in Egypt. All them other guys. Why do you think all them other guys got trampled and the Bible still here? Because the Most High made sure even the heathen recognize his name, man. What? Even them damn Arabs over there talking about Allah Akbar. What?
Boom.
Boom. When Esau come with the drones and say, my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. And he'll say, and Paul them, like, you know, he used who he used when he wants to, man. Finish that out, King.
And I will loose the loins of kings, to be open before him, the two lead gates, and the gates shall not be shut.
See that the Most High made him a mighty warrior, man. Even the Hittite that David had killed so he could get Bathsheba. It was a heathen that was fighting for the armies of Israel. So we all gonna have heathens play their purpose, but doesn't mean that they get equal salvation.
No.
You understand? So, you know, even the dogs get the crumbs from the children's table. right? That's what that was about. Because Yahweh ain't call no daughter as I am a dog.
Let's go back to Romans.
Book of Romans, chapter 11, verse 5. Even so then, at this present time, also there is a remnant according to the election of grace.
Right. And the remnant that you see is the ones teaching on the highways and byways. The brothers out there, we outnumbered, you know what I'm saying, and BLM rallies and MAGA rallies and all types of damn rallies, the Sodomite parade, the Puerto Rican Day parade. We a small remnant amongst many, and we can get tramped out. We can get Timberland out, Timberland to the boot, face out, with no hesitation. But it's the Most High that keep that remnant safe out there on the highways and byways, man.
That's right.
Even to this very present day. Go ahead.
Verse 6. And by grace, then is it no more works. Otherwise, grace is no more grace. But if it be of works, then is it no more grace. Otherwise, work is no more work.
Right. So there goes the tongue twister. Paul, he's the damn Benjamite Riddler.
Damn Benjamin Riddler, man.
So Lakia, that goes into what you do. It doesn't matter. Sin, Israel done sinned so damn much. We can't do the works of our father Elijah, who got taken up. We can't do those works because we're in captivity. But if we're able to do those works, then guess what? It's no more grace. That goes into, if you can sacrifice, you open that up, that means there's no more grace for you. And you have to sacrifice. Otherwise you get that judgment. But we're under grace right now. That's what he was trying to let the other Pharisees understand. It's not about work no more, because y'all not doing the work. Y'all in the grace.
And that's where you get these Johnny come latelys talking about we ain't gotta keep the law. All right, they got a whole academy of them.
Retardation. But it also goes into faith without works is dead. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because you could say you got all the works in the world, brother. You're not perfect, and guess what? You're under the curses of your forefathers too. So now you got debt on top of that. You need grace. You need time to get yourself together.
Yeah.
All of our righteousness is up to what a filthy rag.
Right.
You understand? So we definitely need grace. That's what Paul was trying to explain to you right there. Not just the work, the law is done away with. Paul never taught that the law was done away with.
Right.
He's always quoting the New Testament. He's always reverencing Moses,
The Old Testament.
the so-called Old Testament. But you know what I'm saying? He's always quoting Moses. He's always reverencing Moses in the Old Testament and the prophets. Paul was a Pharisee, man. Paul was a Pharisee. He said his father was a Pharisee, man. You understand? He's the Pharisee of Pharisees, man. Circumcised on the 8th day. He was not telling you to go do away with the law.
Right.
But go ahead.
Verse 7. What then? Israel had not obtained that which he seeketh for, but the election have obtained it, and the rest were blinded.
Right. So the rest was blinded. You understand? The election, this, and it goes even into this vaccine thing. You can have 1,000 vaccines in your arm and 1,000 nose swipes in your nose. If you are part of the election of the Most High, it will not affect you. You'll be walking through it like damn name me a super like Johnny Cage. Right? With the Cage, Luke Cage. You're gonna walk through it like Luke Cage, walk with damn brick wall or let's say if it's the microchip, because you know y'all love the microchip. If it's 1,000 microchips in them, he's just walking through them like you see what I'm saying? So there's nothing that you can do to the election. The Most High made that election, and that election is short.
Yeah, it's sealed.
It's sealed. It is sealed. It's all predestination.
Right.
The Most High got it. We don't got it yet. You know what I'm saying? It ain't on our time, but of course the Most High knows who it is. All right.
For the foundation of the earth, yeah.
Yeah. The ending was declared from the beginning.
That's right.
Go ahead.
Verse 8. According as it is written, God hath given them the spirit of slumber,
Right.
eyes that they should not see, and ears that they should not hear.
Let me get Psalm 69 real quick. Psalm 69, Bible for sure, 69 and 22 to the 23rd verse.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 29,
69.
69, verse 22. Let their table become a snare before them,
Right.
and that which should have been for their welfare, let it become a trap.
Right. Okay. Go ahead.
Let their eyes be darkened, that they see not. Make their loins continually to shake.
Right. And that's what we're speaking about. Okay. It's speaking about Israel. They don't got the spirit of they got the spirit of fear. Everybody fears the damn chip now. Everybody's fearing the vaccine. You have people fearing the damn coronavirus. Brothers is asking, they're like, brother, are you still out there teaching the Bible? It's a pandemic. What are you doing out there? We're not supposed to be out there. What are you trying to prove?
What are you trying to prove? That's what we put underneath our post.
Right.
Brothers post, you know what I'm saying, and exalting the Most High. Like, yo, we have enough faith to be out here during a pandemic.
That's right.
Be underneath the comments, oh, what y'all trying to prove, man? What y'all trying to prove out there?
Y'all trying to be
You out here trying to show off, huh?
Right.
You trying to prove something? We proving that the Most High real. Yeah, we proving that.
God, Salaki, also it says for your welfare. I understand if we kept the law, let you know in Deuteronomy 28, we kept it, we'd be good. But according to the law, if we don't, we punish. So
Right.
what's for our welfare is our detriment now.
And we move in fear, man.
Yeah.
And we're blind. We move in blindness. That darkness was put upon us.
Yeah.
You had something?
I got a piece of
Yeah.
book of Jeremiah, chapter 5, verse 20. Declare this in the house of Jacob and publish it in Judah, saying, hear now this, O foolish people, and without understanding, which have eyes and see not, and have ears and hear not.
Read 8 again, Bible Shaw, in Romans. No, in Romans.
It's like Romans 11.
Book of Romans, chapter 11, verse 8. According as it is written, God hath given them the spirit of slumber, eyes that they should not see, and ears that they should not hear, unto this day.
Go ahead.
Verse 9. And David said, let their table be made a snare.
That's what we just read. Let their table become, and once again, Paul is referencing the Old Testament. Okay?
It's a lot here. Within the first 8 verses, right? He referenced Kings, David, Jeremiah, like Deuteronomy, like he's nothing but the Old Testament. Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead. 9 again. Read 9 again.
Verse 9. And David said, let their table be made a snare, and a trap, and a stumbling block, and a recompense unto them. Let their eyes be darkened, that they may not see, and bow down their back always.
Right. They scared. They got feeble knees. The scriptures is a stumbling block. They don't know that they're Israel. They curse you out when you tell them you're the chosen of the Lord. Okay, they backsliding Israel, man. Okay, go ahead.
Verse 10.
Verse 11.
I say then, have they stumbled that they should fall?
Right. Are they completely gone? He told you that in the beginning. No, they're not. Go ahead.
God forbid.
God forbid.
Right.
But rather through their false salvation is come unto the Gentiles.
Uh-oh. Now here we go. Now this is where they say the popular doctrine in Israel. Okay, they say, well, listen, that's the fall of the Israelites. The fall of the Israelites is the southern kingdom to bring in the northern kingdom. That don't make no damn sense. We're going to show you it don't make no sense. Go ahead.
For to provoke them to jealousy.
Right. So now, for the northern kingdom to provoke the southern kingdom to jealousy. Let's see if that makes sense. Go ahead.
Verse 12. Now the fall of them be the riches of the world.
Be what?
Be the riches of the world.
Somebody give me Zechariah 11 and 4.
This is the book of Zechariah, chapter 11, verse 4. Thus said Yahweh, my God, feed the flock of the slaughter, whose possessors slay them, and hold them not guilty. And they that sell them say, blessed be the Yahweh, for I am rich.
For I am what?
I am rich.
And they that sold us said, blessed be Yahweh, for they are rich. The fall of us was the riches of the world. They sold us and they robbed us and got rich.
Right.
That's the precept on that.
Yeah.
The fall of us wasn't the riches for the northern kingdom.
Right. It don't make
It
sense.
don't make no sense. It don't make no sense.
What? The fall of the southern kingdom gave Poppy the bodegas. It gave Simeon the bodegas. It gave Ephraim the bodegas, the number spots. What? What's the riches of the world? That don't make sense.
It don't
It
make
has
sense because Benjamin still got the jerk cut.
right.
You know what I'm saying?
It doesn't make sense because all Israel fell. Literally. All, when you go into Acts chapter 2, all northern and southern kingdom were there. It lets you know all the languages of the people. It said all the Jews. And when you go into the term Jews during that time, Jews reflective of northern and southern kingdom. You look at the languages and the places that these Jews came from, it was places that northern kingdom was in. This is the second chapter. In Acts, like southern and northern kingdom were together at that time. They fell together, 70 AD, destroyed, scattered, they're gone. The ones that left like 400 to 300 years prior to go to America, they're gone.
Mm-hmm.
So how the hell did Southern Kingdom being destroyed during that time help Northern Kingdom become rich, period? Because they were destroyed as well. They were persecuted as well.
And Salakia, go back to verse 11 because we're supposed to line that up with Deuteronomy 32.
No, but there's still more before we go into Deuteronomy 32. Yeah, there's still more. Go ahead, Doc.
In Romans?
Come.
Fine. Verse 13. For I speak to you Gentiles.
Salakia, start at verse 12 again.
Come. Verse 12. Now the fall of them be the riches of the world, and the diminishing of them the riches of the Gentiles. How much more their fullness?
Right. Go ahead.
For I speak to you Gentiles, inasmuch as I am the apostle of the Gentiles. I magnify mine office.
And what is his office? He lets you know he's an Israelite.
Pharisee, yeah.
He's an Israelite. He's a Pharisee, he's an Israelite, he's a lawgiver. He represents the nation of Israel. So he said, as much as I'm talking to you Gentiles in this particular part of my letter, don't forget I magnify my office as an Israelite. Right? He's not talking about cool down on
He
the kingdom.
magnifying Benjamin.
I'm magnifying Benjamin over you.
Exalted, yeah.
Right? Come on now, man. All right, read on now.
Come. Verse 14. If by any means I may provoke to emulation
Come.
them which are my flesh, and might save some of them.
Right. That's the point of it, to make us jealous. Now we go. Let's go to Deuteronomy, the 32nd chapter.
You said start at 16, right?
Come, start at 16. Deuteronomy 32 and 16. You got it? Read it.
Go ahead. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 32, verse 16. They provoked him to jealousy with strange gods. With abominations provoked they him to anger.
You see that? And in the law, the Most High told you from the rip that he's a jealous God. Right? punishing the iniquities of the fathers unto the sons unto the third and fourth generation. So now he's telling you, you provoke me to jealousy, right? In Kings, he's warning you, provoke me to jealousy. And we're gonna see what the penalty of that is, right? You know.
They sacrificed devils, not to God, to gods whom they knew not, to new gods that came newly up, whom your fathers feared not.
Right.
Of the rock that begat thee, thou art unmindful, and had forgotten God that formed thee.
Right.
And when Yahweh saw it, he abhorred them because of the provoking of his sons and daughters.
Right. He hated it, man. He abhorred it. Okay, go ahead.
Verse 20. And he said, I will hide my face from them. I will see what their end shall be, for they are a very froward generation, children in whom is no faith.
Right.
Verse 21. They have moved me to jealousy.
They have moved to what?
Jealousy.
Go ahead.
With that which is not God. They have provoked me to anger with their vanities, and I will move them to jealousy with those which are not a people. I will provoke them to anger with a foolish nation.
Yeah, so the Most High got provoked to jealousy, and he became the king petty.
Mm-hmm.
King petty. He said, okay, you got me jealous, now I'm gonna make you jealous.
Yeah.
You went to a God that was not even a God.
God.
So now I'm gonna put you and make you jealous with a people that's not even a people.
Yeah, Esau not even a people.
Not even a people. So this is the reason why the Gentiles is speaking about the Gentiles' time to make us jealous. The fall of us was the riches of the world. What's the riches of the world in righteousness belong to who?
Us.
It belonged to us. So the Most High put them for a reason there. So yes, it's not that they can be saved with the same salvation as us. It's to provoke us to get right. It's not hard. This is not hard. This is not rocket science. Everybody don't have to be an Israelite in the scriptures.
So like it. Also, when you go to what is it, Luke 24:21? Or is it Luke?
Yeah, we gotta get to that too.
Yeah, to try it down to the Gentiles.
Try it out.
Why would the Most High allow the Gentiles to go in that land and defile it? Why would he allow the Gentiles to take our customs and all that?
Right.
If that wouldn't be one of the curses of the law.
Yeah, it's one of the curses of the law. It's a curse from the Lord.
Salakia, why would he let the Gentiles go in there if he already didn't do it? Prior to that time, when people tried to do that, they was run out. Why would he let them do it the second time?
Right.
Even deeper than that. The first time the Gentiles tried to come in, they ended up having to leave. They were scared of God. So why would God, after the first time showing us that in the Old Testament, in the New Testament, turn around and do that unless it was a purpose for it?
Yo, I'm gonna tell you like this. When I lived in Brooklyn, I lived in Dyker Heights. Well, before I moved to Georgia, I lived in Dyker Heights. It's close to Borough Park. Borough Park is all Amalek. That's an Amalek area. You can look it up. Yeah. I used to walk my dog, during the feast days and stuff like that. Well, all the time. I used to walk my dog when I used to go on my 2-mile walk. And Amalek, during the Feast of Tabernacles, during the Feast of Passover, during Hanukkah. In New York, y'all don't got it out here. It's not out here, but New York is something called alternate side parking. So you gotta move the car, because the garbage trucks, they come by Tuesdays on one side, then they come by Fridays on the other side. So you gotta move your car for an hour and a half every day, whether it's the morning or night, so the garbage man can go by
freely.
and sweep. Those are the ones that sweep the street.
Yeah, street sweepers
And the garbage trucks. So Amalek, I used to walk by their joints. The garbage was piled up. The garbage didn't come and pick up their garbage, and they didn't have to move their cars during those feast days.
Oh wow.
Not that's without a given. So that's the point of that. Try to just a little bit low out there. We trying to record it. Okay. So go ahead, read that again, Brother Shaw.
God, verse 15. For if the casting away of them be the reconciling of the world, what shall the receiving of them be but life from death?
Right. Okay. And that's what's happening right now. We're getting life from death, huh? We coming back from the spiritual slumber of believing we was everything under the sun except who we really are. Go ahead.
Verse 16. For if the first fruit be holy, the lump is also holy. And if the root be holy, so are the branches.
Right. Okay, go ahead.
Verse 17. And if some of the branches be broken off, and thou, being a wild olive tree, wert grafted in among them, and with the partakers of the root and the fatness of the olive tree.
See, now here is where the popular breakdown comes in, where brothers use in Jeremiah, right? They use Jeremiah. Get that real quick.
Yeah, Jeremiah 16. 11:16.
Yeah.
No, that's not no sticks. That's the unpleasant plant.
Yeah, that's unpleasant.
That's what it's called, the unpleasant plant, right?
Yeah.
Go ahead. Cause
This
that's
is the book of,
go ahead.
this is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 11, verse 16. Yahweh called thy name, a green olive tree, fair and of goodly fruit, with a noise of a great tumult. He had kindled fire upon it,
Right.
and the branches of it are broken.
Right.
For Yahweh of hosts that planted thee hath pronounced evil against thee. For the evil of the house of Israel and of the house of Judah, which they have done against themselves to provoke me to anger, and offering incense to Baal.
There you go again. Go ahead.
Verse 18. And Yahweh had given me knowledge of it, and I know it. Then thou showest me their doings. But I was like a lamb or an ox that is brought to the slaughter, and I knew not that they had devised devices against me, saying, let us destroy this tree with the fruit thereof, and let us cut him off from the land of the living, that his name may be no more remembered.
Right. So that's what they use here. But the grafting in is the heathens. The grafting in is not Israel being grafted in. And it's just to make us jealous. They got our laws. They got our wealth. And then there were no nation. You look at, name the last white boxer, champion white boxer. What was it?
Klitschko brothers.
Klitschko. And that he's like a big doofball. He was a big, a Russian?
Yeah,
Big old Russian.
6'7".
Yeah, it gotta be somebody big and like that. You know what I'm saying?
Whatchamacallit, that white boy just beat
Nick
Dante
Fury?
Wilder.
Tyson Fury.
That was Klitschko.
Nah, the white boy that just beat Dante Wilder. What's his name?
Tyson Fury.
Tyson Fury.
Yeah,
Tyson.
Tyson Fury. Yeah,
But
that's his
then,
ass.
but then Dante Wilder came back and was like, yo, this white boy cheated me. You know what I'm saying? It's never an even fight.
But okay, then I stand corrected. There was some recent, because
But he cheated though. He cheated hard.
it don't matter. It don't matter. We give them that.
Yeah.
You look at when the scriptures talk about the mighty men of Israel, the mighty men of Judah, the mighty men of Gad, the mighty men of the different tribes, and then you look at the so-called, when you look at Amalek, we don't want to get blocked. It's our videos taken down. You look at the people that's walking around with our identity, and they're so feeble, man.
Yeah, they're very feeble.
You talk loud and they get scared. There's a video, you can probably put it in and edit it in here, where Amalek is walking down the block and Ephraim scream out the car, put on your mask!
Put your mask on! Put your mask on! There's COVID cases! Hurry up! Put it on! Put it on!
There's corona out here. And the dude put his damn mask on real quick. He was on the phone, dropped his phone and everything. You see what I'm saying? Scared to death. That you do that to Jake. Jake will be like, yo, who you talking to? What's wrong with you, bro?
Leave me alone.
You know what I'm saying? Leave me alone, man. Get out of here. I ain't wearing no damn mask. You know what I'm saying? Jake gonna respond differently.
Yeah.
When they talk about the scriptures, the scriptures talk about the Egyptian women and the Hebrew women so lively.
So lively.
And that's from a dark nation.
Yeah.
When did you see the last Amalek woman model and be like, damn, that white woman is banging. She's beautiful.
So the last woman that won a pageant for them was an Ethiopian black woman.
Yeah.
She wasn't even from there. She wasn't
And
no
Ethiopian
ethnic.
Ethiopian women, those I think they're the baddest Hamite women.
Yeah.
To me, they're the prettiest Hamite women. But still, where did you get an Amalek woman? When have you ever looked at an Amalek woman and like, damn, I know she looked fine under that wig and that bald head that she put on.
That big nose.
You know what I'm saying? With the big pecan nose.
Oh.
Yeah.
And then they mixed in with every type of thing ever. Like,
Right.
yeah, even
So-
over here.
There's no comparison to them to us.
No.
You see what I'm saying? So this is a known people that the Most High put in front of us, man. They got no swag. They got no spirit. They even when they smoke a cigarette, it looks like death just smoking.
Yeah.
You ever see them chain smoke? They look like death, man. So the Most High provoked us with these people. Go ahead, Doc. You had something to add? Okay, go ahead. Let's go back to it.
Back to Romans.
Come on.
The book of Romans, chapter 11, verse 18. Boast not against the branches, but if thou boast, thou bearest not the root.
You see, so first of all, how can the northern kingdom boast against the southern kingdom? That don't make sense. The only one, and the Most High put this purposely in here because he knew they was gonna boast against us.
Guys, Salaki, actually, he let you know that he made Judah, he exalted Judah because Northern Kingdom would exalt themselves over Judah. That's why Judah's at the top. And how the hell can you boast? Yeah, we boasting against these Northern Kingdom brothers, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, man. Even though we went off and committed idolatry first. That makes no damn sense. Y'all are the first ones to get cast out of Israel. How the hell can you be boasting?
So like, where they do the boasting at?
Man. Right.
Where they do the boasting at?
And the prophecy still says that, remember, when we come together in one stick in Ezekiel, that Ephraim shall no longer envy Judah.
No.
So how can that be the northern kingdom boasting against Judah?
Can't, because they won't put together.
You see?
It really is talking about, because even like y'all said, that Jewish guy, he just came out and admitted that we Israelites. But before that, they was trying to clown us. But black people ain't no Jews. They was definitely trying to clown us. But now Rosenberg and other people saying we Jews. But now what they even saying now? Oh, we gotta still come underneath them.
Yeah.
That's still boastful. You understand?
Yeah, that's very boastful.
That's still boastful, saying, "Oh, y'all, or we admit y'all the Jews,
It's
but
a-
y'all can be Jews only if y'all coming with us."
So like, his exact words that we need them to guide us.
Yeah,
Yes.
they because Amari Stoudemire did it, we can do it.
Yeah,
All right.
He went under them. No problem.
no problem.
Go ahead.
Come on, verse 19. Thou will say then, the branches were broken off, that I might be grafted in.
Right. Go ahead.
Well, because of unbelief, they were broken off, and thou standest by faith. Be not high-minded, but fear.
Right. So it's telling you stand by faith. Okay? Yeah, you got a little faith in the Most High. And you should. We're going to encourage any heathen, if they want to keep the laws of the Most High, righteousness will tell you, let them keep it. Don't tell them don't keep it. You know what I'm saying? Because we're supposed to be representing pure righteousness, and that's what the Most High is. So if a heathen say you want to keep it, you can keep it. Just stay on that side, though. You can't come over here for a feast day.
Con,
You better not try to marry our women. You know, and you got congregations out there, mixing and matching over there. You know what I'm saying? They got different names of the Most High. So they worshiping a different God. You over here mixing and matching Israel with heathen men and women. Okay? Going against the scriptures. Okay, go ahead.
Verse 22. Behold, therefore, the goodness and sovereignty of God on them which fell, sovereignty, but toward thee, goodness, if thou continue in his goodness. Otherwise, thou also shalt be cut off.
And this is, truthfully speaking, Paul is mocking the heathen here.
Yeah.
He's mocking them. Because there's only a reason why they were put in a position to make us jealous.
Right.
You see? And even, we're going to go into the Canaanite woman. Because that's another doctrine now, that because they're trying to make everybody an Israelite. The Canaanite woman is a heathen, Israelite now. That Yahweh cleansed the daughter. Okay? We're going to go into that if somebody could get that too. Baba Bashar. But go ahead, read what you got.
Come, verse 23. And they also, if they abide not still in unbelief, shall be grafted in, for God is able to graft them in again.
Right. The Most High do what he want, man. Go ahead.
For if thou wert cut off of the olive tree, which is wild by nature, and wert grafted contrary to nature.
This is what you got to pay close attention to now. Go ahead, read that again from the beginning.
Come. For if thou wert cut out of the olive tree, which is wild by nature, and wert grafted contrary to nature into a good olive tree, how much more shall these, which be the natural branch,
Which be the what?
the natural branches,
So he's saying that even that we got cut off, right? How much more that we're gonna get put back on as the natural branches,
Right.
right? Because the other branches weren't natural. But it was more not to boast up against us, because once we get back on as the natural branches, it's gonna be their ass. Salakia for the language, but it's gonna be a rap for them if they boasted up against us, which they did, right?
be grafted into their own olive tree.
Right, because they're part of that olive tree.
Their own olive tree.
Right.
Hear that?
Their own. Not that the nations are the GMOs. We tell them that all the time. We the organic, y'all the GMOs.
John.
Okay, go ahead.
For I will not, brethren, that ye should be ignorant of this mystery.
This is a mystery. Don't be ignorant of it. This is what you got pastors, you got Christians, you got if you teach it that this is Israel, you're gonna look crazy out there on the streets. If a pastor goes to here instead of John 3:16.
John.
You see what I'm saying? You got that John 3:16 breakdown all the time. Let me tell Israel's secret. If you don't know something, that's being brought out, or if you're not well studied in it, always, and it may sound crazy, and I'm not trying to say don't do it. If you don't know, period. It might sound crazy. Revert the conversation back to the milk. You can always cut them with the milk.
Yeah.
That's what you have to do. If you don't know something and they take you into deep waters, go back into the milk. I say this all the time about Islam. If they go into certain questions or certain things you might not have heard before, you can always go back into showing them how they're idolatrous.
Yeah.
And showing them how they worship idols. The same thing with Christianity. You got pastors bringing this out with a big cross on their chest. It was easy to revert it like, yo, you're an idol worshiper. You see what I'm saying? It's easy to revert it. If you get thrown out in deep waters, always go back to the milk. You can't lose with the milk. You get caught up with these mysteries. Be not ignorant of it. Okay? Go ahead, read that again, the 25th verse.
Con, for I will not, brethren, that ye should be ignorant of this mystery, lest ye should be wise in your own conceit.
Right.
That blindness in part is happened to Israel.
Right.
Until the fullness of the Gentiles be come in.
Right.
Now you
That's
get
it.
loose.
That's a cut. Now you get
Now you get loose. But that's the pre until the fullness of the Gentiles.
14, right?
No. It's Luke 21:24, so 24:21. We said the time of the Gentiles be fulfilled. They trot down on Israel and the lifestyle of Israel and the culture of Israel until the time is fulfilled.
This is the book of Luke, chapter 21, verse 24.
Bring it out.
In the red letter. And they shall fall by the edge of the sword,
Right, we done fell off, we done got broke off as the natural branches. Read on.
and shall be led away captive into all nations.
Because what? Our fall was the riches of the nations, like it says in Romans 11. Go ahead.
And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the
And
Gentiles
they shall take on our customs and make us jealous. Go ahead.
until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled.
Until the fulfilled.
So Salaki, so how the hell, this is how you know in Acts, beginning of Acts, before Paul became Paul, his name was Saul, Mashiach literally said, leave this man alone, because I will use him to be a what to the Gentiles? A God. He literally went to the Gentiles. You go to where Paul, if you read certain areas in Acts, you're gonna be confounded, man. You're gonna be confounded. You're gonna be real confused about what's going on.
Salakia. When Paul says he became all things to all men, I mean, he literally became that.
Right.
Yeah.
Just confounding, Gentiles thinking that they were, going to be drafted in.
Because you gotta understand, if Jake's so in love with being a Greek, you gotta come to him as a Greek.
Right.
And then you can't only change his mind, you gotta change the damn devil mind beside him because
Beside him, that's whispering in his ear.
That's right. That's right.
We can keep moving on.
And see, what people don't understand too, it's like, Yahweh Shah dealt with the 12 apostles. He dealt with them that's like a full class. He dealt with all of them together damn near, right? He taught them all together. It was like a full class. When he came to Paul, it was a one-on-one. So it was like more time, more of spirit put into Paul. You see what I'm saying? That's why Paul says he's the chiefest of the apostles, when the scriptures tell you that the rock is Peter.
The rock is Peter.
So you can have a physical leader in the flesh, but there could be a spiritual leader.
That's right.
You don't always have to be in the flesh. You can have a face of something, but then the backbone is the spirit behind that.
God.
And it could be somebody or something else.
That's right.
You understand? So yes, Paul was the chiefest of the apostles. Because of Paul's writings, I strongly believe, and I believe the brothers agree, is that his tongue twisters and wordplay is the reason why the Bible ain't destroyed completely.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Confound. Yeah.
Confound.
You gotta understand, that's why Emperor Constantine converted to Christianity.
Yeah.
He was looking for a religion that would accept him.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
so when he was dealing with, you can't kill your family member in Roman customs. You're finished, you're going straight to hell.
Can't say it.
Right. But when you deal with Christianity, back then, if you just did good and kept the law and had faith in Christ, you was accepted. That was it.
Come.
That was it. That's why when you get so confounded when it says Jew or Greek, or where it says if you do good to the Jew first, then to the Greek second. Why? This person's an Israelite too. Why would he get good second if he's Israelite? It's saying what it said. Now there is a couple of Israelites who had a Gentile mind state. Yes, they were out there, but that's not the case for every single person in the Bible. No.
And disclaimer, would not, once again, if you've seen us in DC, you know that we're not teaching Esau can be saved. Okay?
No way.
He
Period.
could be saved for slavery.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It ain't the same. The Most High is not an equal opportunity employee.
No, he's not.
Affirmative action.
Salakia, the Most High is a just God and a righteous God, but he's not an equal God.
That's right.
Right.
He has that the man is the head of the household over the woman. right? He has his chief priests, he has his chief apostles, and guess what? Even though Israel altogether is a holy nation, the 1/3 is above the 2/3.
Right. That's right.
So the Most High, he's not an equal opportunist God.
That's
You
right.
understand? He deals in order. And that's the order he established and the order he set up. Huh?
John, Salaki also, even when you deal with the time of Moses and Exodus, the heathen had a part in the kingdom, and they played it. It was a lesser role. They had to keep the commandments. They had to keep, if they wanted to celebrate or do anything, they had to be circumcised, and they only had the what? The outer court. So the Most High's giving them a chance. Oh, you can come in too, but you're gonna be in that what? That outer court.
Just like in the kingdom of heaven, yeah.
So for us to sit here and be like, because I remember there used to be a doctrine that only Israel will be in the kingdom of heaven. And that doctrine was getting people flayed. They were getting flayed. Yo, only the Israelites is getting in the kingdom of heaven. You will get flayed up by a regular Christian if you believe that.
That's Salaki. That's off as hell to Issachar, because then if Israel is the only ones in the kingdom, that means who gonna build the kingdom? Issachar. Issachar, Benjamin.
Tree jobs, man. Tree jobs. Me high priest. Me the janitor, and me also the builder of the building. Like, you know what I'm saying? Come on, man.
Because Salaki, actually, doesn't it say in the scriptures, by these nations shall your walls be built? Yeah, it says by these nations shall your walls be built. Yeah.
Salaki, I don't know the exact verse, but even Solomon left people alive to build the kingdom afterwards.
Yeah.
He says that he left them alive, and it says of those sons made he slaves.
Right.
As soon as y'all live, make y'all slaves.
And all the gold that they was giving him, what you did, a lot of that was in he was decorating the altar with it. Okay?
They give tribute. Yeah.
Go ahead, let's go back to Romans. But you got the Canaanite woman, get that.
Matthew 23.
Go ahead,
Verse 27. For this is my covenant unto them, when I shall take away their sins.
Right. Go ahead.
As concerning the gospel, they are enemies for your sakes. But as touching the election, they are beloved for the Father's sake.
Right. There's no way to get around this, and you can't. It's the sensationalism, like the elder priest of Bach always say, the sensationalism of having this dynamic breakdown of it's popular. Yes, everybody's an Israelite. It's we don't have the popular doctrine here at H.O.I. So we understand why certain brothers at certain times leave us. You know, out of Priest of Bach's own mouth, he said he was going to keep the camp a small camp, a couple brothers, and just in New York because of the simple fact that he knew certain brothers will leave because of the unpopular doctrine.
So Lockie also, what you just read is like, he's telling them, for your sake, we're your enemy. We're their enemy. It's like, no, man, this gospel's ours. This gospel's ours, man. You can't have this. This is ours. And then on the flip side, he said, but I promised them that there will be a part of the election. He's cutting you in this time because y'all the same ones that came up with that doctrine. See, no Israel, no heathen get this. This is our gospel. But he let you know they're the election. Who is he talking about? How the hell is a 2/3 Israelite get grafted in and he doesn't have heir to the election?
Right. Go ahead.
Verse 29. For the gifts and calling of God are without repentance. For as ye in times past have not believed God.
Did you skip 26?
Yeah, I did.
What the hell?
It's like,
Come on now, you gotta be on point with this. I'm like, wait a minute. Yeah, you done went all the way up. No fat joke.
Verse 26. And so all Israel shall be saved, as it is written.
See? And that's, where is it written? You got a couple scriptures where it says it. Isaiah 45 and 17.
All Israel shall be saved, yeah.
Okay, there's another scripture also.
You got it in Joel.
Come. Okay, so it's all about Israel. We know this. Go ahead.
Verse 27.
No, finish reading that. Finish reading 26.
There shall come out of Zion the deliverer, and shall turn away from Jacob.
Right. Okay, go ahead.
For this is my covenant unto them, when I shall take away their sins. As concerning the gospel, they are enemies for your sakes. But as touching the election, they are beloved for the Father's sakes.
Right. They was to get, he used them to get us on point, man.
Yeah.
He used the nations to get us on point. And that's what we're going to show you. Go on to the Canaanite woman.
Come, this is the book of Matthew, chapter 15, verse 22. And behold, the woman of Canaan came out of the same coast and cried unto him, saying, Have mercy on me, O Yahweh, O Lord, thou son of David. Selah. My daughter is grievously vexed with the devil.
Right.
Verse 23. But he answered her not a word. And his disciples came and besought him, saying, Send her away, for she
Right.
crieth afterwards.
The disciples saying, send her away, man, get out of here, get this heathen woman out of here. Why would the disciples say that about an Israelite woman?
Right.
They're saying, get her out of here. Go ahead.
Verse 24. But he answered and said, red letters, I am not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel.
Right. He was only sent to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Hallelujah. Go ahead.
Then she came and worshipped him, saying, Lord, help me. Verse 26. But he answered and said, It is not meet to take the children's bread and cast it to the dogs.
So right then and there, Yahweh Shah would not call a daughter of Zion a bitch. You know, excuse my language. That's not coming out of Yahweh Shah's mouth. Okay? So he called this woman a female dog. So when she's a female, he called her a dog. Okay? He called her a bitch. He said, nah, I'm not going to give the food to off the children's table to give it to some bitch. You see what I'm saying? Basically, yeah. Go ahead.
Female dog.
A female dog.
Thinking about editing.
Nah. You can say bitch on YouTube. You can say bitch on YouTube.
Not on H.O.I.
We probably say it.
I say worse stuff. Hey, I don't see worse said on YouTube. We probably
You can't use the F word. And I'm not talking about F-U-C-K. But let's go, Bob.
Get flagged on the YouTube.
Come on.
Verse 20. Salakia, verse 27. And she said, Truth, Lord, yet the dogs eat at the crumbs which fall from the master's table.
She said, yes, I accept being a bitch. I accept being a Chihuahua. I accept being a German Shepherd. I accept being a Rottweiler.
Rat terrier.
A rat terrier.
That's in the
I accept it all. Can I get some of that crumbs off the table? Go ahead.
Come. Verse 28. Then Yahushua answered and said unto her, O woman, great is thy faith. Be it unto thee even as thou wilt. And her daughter was made whole from that very hour. Come.
So she stood in her place, and Yahushua granted the cleansing of her daughter, right? Now, people say, well, why would he do that? What's the point of that? And it's just to show you, he gave her a crumb off the children's table. He gave her a crumb. It was something small.
That was small.
Small. So imagine how much more that he would do for us as a nation of people. If we come back, come right. The blessings are endless, man. He gave her a crumb. We getting the bread, bro. We getting the loaf. What's the bread?
Ezekiel bread?
No, Ezekiel bread. The show bread, man. We getting show bread. We not getting no damn crumbs. We getting show bread, bro.
Shoot.
Anybody else have something to say?
Yeah, I wanted to say, even the way he told her, that he was like, great is your faith, be unto you as you will.
Right.
Go on about your business.
Right.
Yeah, like you got that.
Right.
You want it to happen, it's gonna be there. Go on about your business. Like, that's how we gave it to her for real.
Gave her a crown.
Right.
Yo, take this chump change, go to the store.
Pretty much.
You know what I'm saying?
You could buy an Asian chill.
I think a lot of it too, when they go with this whole doctrine of everybody in the Bible is an Israelite, has to do. They don't understand that the Most High can have certain level of mercy even to the heathen nations. That was an example of that. What H.O.I did, even in the kingdom of heaven, the fact that they're not destroyed as a nation for what they did to the children of the Most High is a blessing on its own. And they're not thinking about it in that sense. They just think, well, because the Most High used them for certain things in the Bible, they got to be Israelites. There's no way. And me and the Yenya had this conversation actually, about the ministry and all that stuff.
So like, I even see heathens who want to follow the law, who want to follow us, but when they speak to us, an actual Israelite, they talk to us like they on the same level ground. They'll literally say on their page, y'all are the true children of Israel, but when they speak to us, it be like, who are you to talk to me like that? That goes back to what he was saying about the boasting. You can't boast because you get a crumb for a time, and now you talking to us like, oh, y'all stupid dogs lost it.
I'm gonna tell you a story. When we went to the Detroit pull-up, we went on the boat ride, right? We went on the boat ride. There was a group of Edomites on the boat, and they I believe, right? If I'm lying, or they came in with Pastor Dow. They came in with Pastor Dow, right? Yeah. So check this out. So a plate of food dropped, right? It was a plate of food that dropped on the floor, and it was by the Edomites. Or was it their plate?
It wasn't their plate.
It wasn't their plate. So now the crew staff of the ship, of the boat, was Israel, but they was not in the truth. So they working the boat or whatever. So Jake start picking it up. So Shaul Paul, he go by the Edomites, and he tell them, y'all supposed to be cleaning that up.
I should know y'all early.
Word of mouth. You know what I'm saying? He told him, you're supposed to be cleaning that up.
That's your job.
Right.
I think he's talking about a different one when they went to y'all went to the Hebrews and Negroes.
Yeah, that was the Hebrews and Negroes boat ride.
That was the movie premiere, the boat ride, the whole shebang.
Yeah, even when we walked, because we came late to the movie premiere. Everybody was already inside, and then right when it was the same Edomites. When they came in, they looked at everybody, and then they saw us with the pull-up boy shirts. They said, "Oh man, these Negroes is here. This camp is here. Oh man."
They kind of got closer to the Israelite first, like, are we safe?
Yeah, they had to go on the other side. They had to get close to their peoples. You know what I'm saying? They know about the One West camps. We a little different. You know what I'm saying?
But actually, if you rehearsing the righteous acts, really, they're supposed to come in servitude. Like, that's why I don't get certain congregations.
Right.
So when you go into certain congregations, man, it's like, I don't know, they act like they don't get it. Let me get Leviticus, I think it's 27:44.
Count.
Or is it 25:44?
Yeah, Salakia, if you are going to keep the damn heathen in your congregation, put them to use. Put them in their rightful office, man. They gotta be the janitor. They gotta be the busboy. They gotta be the dishwasher. They got to.
That's how it's gonna be in the kingdom.
Right.
You must be practice now.
This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 25, verse 23. The land. Oh, Salakia. 25, 24. 44. Come. This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 25, verse 44. Both thy bondmen and thy bondmaids, which thou shalt have, shall be of the heathen.
Shall be what?
Of the heathen.
Now, is this law, Levi?
Of Khan. Of
Levi,
the
hold on. Is this law?
most definitely.
So if you coming back to the law of the Most High, what we preach that we are doing, right? Which all the Israelites who are coming into the truth, They say they're coming back to the Lord. Am I right?
Right.
Am I wrong?
No.
They say.
They say they're coming back to the laws of the Most High.
right.
And they reversing the righteous acts,
That's right.
So read that again
Let
from
me
the
read
top,
this
right?
righteous act from the top. Both thy bondmaid, bondmen and bondmaids, which thou shalt have, because we'll have,
We shall have.
we shalt have, shall be of the heathen that are round about you.
That a what?
Around about you.
This is the mixed multitude that came with Moses. It's like, hey, we got some heathen over here. What are they gonna be? They're gonna be our bondmen and bondmaids. Man, read on.
Come. Of them shall you buy bondmaid and bondmen.
Read on.
Verse 45. Moreover, of the children of the strangers that do sojourn among you, of them shall ye buy, and of their families that are with you, which they begat in your land.
Which they begat in your land, right? Read on.
And they shall be your possession.
Right. Read on.
I'm gonna keep going. Come. And ye shall take them as an inheritance.
That's what?
An inheritance.
And what did David say? Ask of me.
Come.
How's it go? I'll say it.
Psalms 2 and 8, ask of me of the heathens, and it shall give to you for the inheritance.
Come on, now. This is the same Bible everybody read it. All right, read on.
Wow.
Come.
You said inheritance.
45.
46.
46. For your children after you, to inherit them for possession,
Come.
they shall be your bondmen forever.
For how long?
Forever.
For how long?
Forever.
Read on.
Ever, ever. But over your brethren,
Over your brethren.
the children of Israel,
Yeah.
ye shall not rule one over another with rigor.
Keep
That's
going.
it.
And no BS. Them Edomite men, cause there was men, right?
Yeah.
There was a couple women. I didn't see no women.
I seen like I think 1 or 2 women.
Yeah. Okay. But
Mostly men.
the men, they should have been quick. Once he said that,
Yes, sir.
yes sir.
I got you, bro.
That's a heathen in their place.
Yeah.
Even if they're not ours per se,
Yeah,
handmaids, and they belong to Pastor Dow,
Yeah.
but it's like, yo, bro, this is an Israelite function.
Like y'all enslaved enough, I got you.
Clean that
You
plate.
feel me?
You know what I'm saying? Clean that up. And make sure there's nothing left on there, bro. Or matter of fact, you take it, if you're not gonna clean it, that's your plate now. If you're not gonna clean it, you're not gonna clean it?
Eat it.
That's what you eat. Uh,
God, Salakia, like when you go into the chapter, it's just a different way. Heathen, you can have forever. If they still alive and you dead, and your children can have them, your children can have them.
Yeah.
Same thing happened when Jacob ran into Rachel and Leah's father. He gave them Bilhah and Zilpah and said, my children have them. So when you deal with Israel and your brother, you can't do that to your brother.
God.
You can have their kid, your bond servant, all their children. You have them; they your children. But you can't do that to your brother. He got to leave with his whole family.
You got 7 years for that, right?
Yeah, Jubilee.
Yeah, Jubilee. That's the most amount you can have your brother.
Come. Salaki, the key word is rigorously. Right? We can do that to the heathens, but not to our own people.
Not to
That's
them.
our own
It's completely different.
That's what that rigor come in.
Yeah.
The rigor come in is that you treat the heathen differently than you treat your brother and
Treat your own
sister.
brother, yeah.
right. Let's go.
Go back to Rome.
Yeah, let's go back to Romans so we can finish it up.
God.
And you can see where we're at. We're not. Our disclaimer still stands.
God.
We're not trying to bring the heathen into H.O.I. All right.
Not at all.
Okay.
Then it wouldn't be H.O.I.
Right. We're at 29.
The book of Romans chapter 11 verse 29. For the gifts and calling of God are without repentance.
Mm-hmm.
For as ye in times past have not believed God, yet have now obtained mercy through their unbelief.
Right. Go ahead.
Even so have these also now not believed, that through your mercy they also may obtain mercy.
Paul, the Most High dealt with Paul on a different level, man.
he's kind of like a battle rapper.
The Riddler.
The Riddler, like he say things in a way that's gonna confuse you. You gotta catch on, like, oh,
God.
Right.
you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah,
Okay. And this was his office.
God.
He was the what he said? The apostle of the Gentiles, man. Okay, there was a reason for this. Go ahead.
For God hath concluded them in all in unbelief, that he might have mercy upon all.
Go ahead.
Oh, the depth of the riches, both of the wisdom and knowledge of God. How unsearchable are his judgments, and his ways past finding out.
Right. The Most High do this craziness, and then this is revealed to us because we know the prophecy in Deuteronomy. We understand this. And he says what? He revealed his secrets to his servants, the prophets.
That's right. That's right.
So we understand this.
God.
Now, this might be a stumbling block to certain Israelites because it's supposed to be a stumbling block to certain Israelites.
God.
It's supposed to be a stumbling block to the heathen.
That's right.
It's supposed to. It's supposed to shake you up. It gave them an opportunity to feel like, yeah, we can come in here. You know what I'm saying? The gates are open. But it was really to provoke us to getting back to our God.
That's right.
That's the whole key of this Romans 11.
No, it's almost like, you know what I'm saying? It's almost like when you're a child and you take something for granted. You know what I'm saying? You ain't ride that bike in a minute. You're looking at your neighbor's bike, think your neighbor's bike is better, and then you see like somebody else jump on your bike and they having fun with your bike. Like, man, I want my bike back.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's how the Most High dealt with us. He dealt with us as children, man. We are His children. So you know what I'm saying? He said, "Oh, you don't realize how good I am to you? Watch I have this nobody walk around claiming that he you, and in your position, see how good you think it is now." You understand? So that's how He dealt with us.
Khan, Salaki, you gotta understand, the Most High literally let you know, he said Nebuchadnezzar was his servant. Literally, it says that. The Most High was dealing with Nebuchadnezzar. He was like, oh, Nebuchadnezzar, all right, I'm just gonna do another work.
Right.
Oh, you're not listening? I'm gonna make you eat grass on the ground.
Right.
And he tried to deal with his son. His son went and defiled all the gold things that was from Israel. And he said, well, didn't I just make your father go into the field? Well, guess what? I'm gonna judge you. Our unbelief give the Gentiles a chance.
Wow.
But we were promised what? The election. But the Most High knows that they're going to do what? Mess it up.
That's right.
Even when you go into when Abraham brought his wife into Egypt, and then with the Egyptian king or the Pharaoh, he wanted Moses' wife, and the angel came through like, yo, bro, listen, you don't want to do that. You don't want that right there, like, you know what I'm saying? Like the God of Israel gonna handle you. You know, so the Most High, he deal with heathen in a certain way, like Ishmael. Ishmael's whole birth, what does Ishmael mean? What does Ishmael mean, y'all? I've heard you. I've heard your cry. That's what Ishmael means. He had, the Lord has heard him. And that was the cry of a damn heathen he heard. And he said, I'm going to bless you.
And gave it to a prince.
And gave him 12 princes, and he's still a rich nation. Niggas dancing in Arab money.
That comes out the ground.
You know what I'm saying? So the Most High deal with heathen and to a certain extent.
That's right.
But the promises and the kingdom still belongs to Yasha'Allah.
That's right.
Now let me just read this commentary. All the commentary, you gotta learn how to chew the meat and spit out the bones.
Right.
Okay, so all commentary ain't right, but then there's some commentary that the people know, and it's most likely a Edomite commentator. It says Paul insists that the rejection of the Jews was partial, passing with purpose. A remnant continued to believe the rejection wouldn't last forever, and some good would actually come from it. Israel's transgression allowed the gospel to be delivered to the Gentiles. As a result, a sense of jealousy developed among the people of Israel when the Jewish people saw God's acceptance of the Gentiles.
many would repent and come to God as well. Indeed, Paul's use of the word fullness indicates a positive future for Israel. You see?
Yeah, that's on point.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So they know what this is for. But a lot of people, especially the low level Christians, they don't know nothing about this. You see what I'm saying? But everybody's trying to get a piece of the pie. Even the Jehovah's Witnesses say they're 144,000. They say that. That's their doctrine. That they're the 144,000. And Paul tell you, don't even dare yourself to be part of that number.
Right.
But the Charles T. Russellites are.
Russellites, yeah, kind of.
Okay, so yeah, this was Paul made everybody feel wanted. That was his purpose.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Verse 34, who have known the mind of the Lord, or who have been his counsel.
Right. Go ahead.
Verse 35, or who have first given to him, and it shall be recompensed unto him again. Verse 36, for of him, and through him, and to him are all things, to whom be glory forever. Amen.
Hallelujah. The Most High, Paul giving the Most High his praise and glory, man, and honor. You know, that's how you close up. That's how you open up and close up.
Close up.
Pretty much said God ain't cheating nobody. You ain't give him nothing, he gonna owe you this. You know what I'm saying? That's pretty much it.
He also points out that the Most High did give us a counselor who's a Mashiach Yahushua, so he could be drafted back in as the natural branches.
That's right.
But then the unnatural branches, they also fulfill prophecy by boasting up against us. So, hey, snips, you know what I'm saying? Y'all gotta go in the captivity, man.
Yeah.
Oh, that true.
You know, and that just it goes into Amos as well, especially I think it's Amos 9, and we go into Acts 15 where Simon or Peter was talking about, the Most High is giving salvation to the Gentiles. And that salvation is what? The salvation is Revelation 21 and 23. They saved to be in the field.
That's right.
To serve us. That's it.
But Salaki, like Peter said in the second, Paul's writings are very hard to understand, especially if you not grounded in this truth. Just like Peter said in 2 Peter, I think it's 3:16, that Paul's, the letters are very hard to understand.
I get that. I get that. That's how we're gonna close out. Get 2 Peter chapter 3, start at verse 15.
And what I want to say, Salakia, if I was to write Chief a letter, and I was to say, if I write Chief a letter all in Spanish, and somebody would take this letter 30 years from now and not know me or Chief, you wouldn't understand what we were talking about, even if you could understand Spanish. You know what I'm saying? Salakia, what'd you say, 2 Peter what?
3, and start at 15 and 16.
Come.
Because this is the reason why we're doing the breakdown in the first place.
This is the chapter.
And look, once again, the disclaimer: this is not to belittle nobody. This is not to we're not debating brothers on the breakdown. This is where we stand with the breakdown. This is what we was taught. This is what technically, if you're a One West camp, this is what your elders from the original One West was taught.
That's right.
Okay.
This is the book of 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 15. And account that the long suffering of our Lord is salvation, even as our beloved brother Paul, according to the wisdom given unto him, hath written unto you.
You see that? According to the wisdom given unto him, man. Right? And that's what he writes unto you. Go ahead.
As also in all his epistles or letters, speaking in them of these things, in which are some things hard to be understood.
Some things he writes is hard to be understood, man. He coming through with the lingo, he coming through with the mysteries, he coming through with the riddles, the double entendres, you know what I'm saying? Read on.
Which they that are unlearned and unstable rest.
You see that? They that are unlearned and unstable, they wrestle with it, man.
That's right.
It's hard to understand. Read on.
As they do also the other scriptures,
As
unto
they
their
do
own
also-
description.
As they do all to the other scriptures. Unto into their own destruction.
No, it's a lucky that, we made this breakdown for brothers and sisters that might have, seen that certain rebuttals of Romans 11, and they got shook. Don't be shook. You still got the election, but the heathen, they playing their part to see if they can be saved to be your servant. That's it.
That's right.
It's not no equal. It's no equal partnership in the kingdom of heaven. Also for other congregations that might try to figure out why or what, you got to understand that at the end of the day, we're going with what the word says, right? And when you wrestle with these words and you try to make up your own doctrine and you don't go strictly by what it says, you're going to fall back and be broken. You're going to be destroyed, right? Somebody's going to see, oh, damn, let me cut you. Simply just reading what the word says cuts you, right? The word does say precept upon precept, line upon line, but it literally says right afterwards, by these shall you fall back and be broken. So make sure you understand and comprehend of what you're reading, because that's what's going on with Israel. We precepting each other to death.
Right. Let me read this commentary. Commentary on 2 Peter's. It says, Peter refers to Paul's writings, saying he and Paul are preaching the same message. Peter places Paul's writings in the same category as all of the scriptures, which in this case refers to the Old Testament. You see?
Refers to what?
Refers to the Old Testament. And then it says, Peter's final words are of warning and direction. You see, so he's basically telling you what it is. Like it's just difficult, and it's not for everybody.
Sure.
It's not for everybody to get it, but yes, they are on the same page. So there's no difference between, because some people say that. Well, I've heard some people say, well, I believe in the New Testament, but I don't believe in Paul's writings. It's like, what?
Yeah, a lot of people say that.
And let me say, and I'm gonna go as far as to say, a lot of people that don't believe in the New Testament don't really understand Torah, because if they did, they would understand that all the apostles in H.O.I spoke the Torah.
Yeah.
All through their scriptures, like we just showed you, most of those precepts in Romans 11 were referred to the Old Testament.
The prophecies that had to come to pass.
Right. You see, so where H.O.I stands, and this is from Pre-Zabak on down, we stand on Romans 11, talking about the heathens. It's talking about the other nations to provoke Israel to jealousy, and they were grafted in for that purpose only.
It was talking to Israelites about the heathen, how the heathen's going to provoke them to jealousy, because it was wicked as hell, man.
That's right.
That's what Romans 11 is about.
Come.
Okay.
So with that, all praise and honor and glory to the Most High, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shah. We still got next, double honors to the elders of H.O.I. and Kum Yashah.
Kum Yashah.